Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for another breaking update that could have massive implications for the Dallas Cowboys and their secondary. The news hit hard and fast. Jaire Alexander, the elite cornerback formerly with the Green Bay Packers, has officially signed with the Baltimore Ravens. It's a blockbuster move that not only strengthens the Ravens' defense but also reshapes the entire free agent and trade landscape for cornerbacks across the league. And yes, Cowboys fans, this affects Dallas in a big way. We're now entering an urgent phase of roster construction as the Cowboys front office looks to patch up some major gaps at cornerback heading into training camp. In this video, we're going to break down what Jaire Alexander's signing means for the Cowboys, which free agent and trade targets are still in play, and whether a reunion with veteran Stephon Gilmore is truly on the table or just fan fantasy. So buckle up, Cowboys Nation. This is going to be a wild ride. Now, let's start by revisiting the impact Jaire Alexander would have had if the Cowboys were able to make a move. There were whispers earlier in the offseason that Dallas had shown some level of interest. It wasn't aggressive, but it was exploratory, especially after Alexander reportedly became frustrated with the Packers' direction and wanted a change of scenery. His skill set is undeniable: elite in man coverage, fluid hips, quick reaction time, and physical at the point of attack. Pairing him with Trevon Diggs and Darren Bland could have given Dallas arguably the most dangerous cornerback trio in the NFL. But now that dream is dead, and it's back to the drawing board. The timing couldn't be worse for the Cowboys either. With minicamp wrapped and training camp just weeks away, there's not a lot of time left to find and integrate a new player into Dan Quinn's defensive system, or now Mike Zimmer's system, given the change at defensive coordinator. And while Diggs is returning from injury and Bland is emerging as a star, the depth behind them is paper thin. Players like Nahshon Wright and Eric Scott Jr. just haven't shown they can consistently step up. That's not a knock on them personally, but when you're trying to compete for a Super Bowl, you need proven reliability. So let's talk options. Free agency is where the Cowboys are likely to focus first, simply because of the ease of acquisition: no draft capital, just cap maneuvering. And topping that list of available veterans is none other than Stephon Gilmore, who spent the 2023 season in Dallas and played at a high level. He may not be the all-pro force he once was in his prime, but Gilmore was incredibly solid last year, stepping up especially after Diggs went down. He knows the system, the locker room likes him, and he fits culturally. The Cowboys have reportedly kept the lines of communication open with Gilmore's camp, but nothing has materialized yet. Could that change now that Alexander is off the board? Absolutely. In fact, it's probably the most likely scenario if Dallas is looking for an immediate plug-and-play option. Gilmore isn't the only name out there, though. Another intriguing option is former Tampa Bay Buccaneers corner Carlton Davis, who was recently traded to Detroit and is reportedly available again due to Detroit's overloaded secondary. Davis is younger than Gilmore, more physical, and has shown flashes of elite play when healthy. The Cowboys would need to swing a trade here, which complicates matters, but the price might not be astronomical if the Lions are simply looking to offload him. He brings swagger, length, and could thrive in a system that emphasizes aggressive press coverage. Next on the radar is Adoree Jackson, the former New York Giants corner who is still unsigned. Jackson is a bit of a mixed bag when healthy. He's capable of shutting down number 2 receivers and occasionally even number 1 guys. But the injury concerns and inconsistency in recent seasons have kept him on the market. Still, as a depth piece or a rotational starter, Jackson might be a solid investment, especially if the Cowboys can get him on a short-term deal with incentives. He offers versatility and can even contribute on special teams if needed. Another name to watch is Xavien Howard, recently let go by the Miami Dolphins. Howard is a big play machine when he's locked in, but his decline in 2023 raises some red flags. Still, if Zimmer believes he can resurrect Howard's career with the right scheme and usage, that could be a worthwhile gamble. The Cowboys would essentially be buying low on a player who has all-pro upside. Plus, Howard's ball-hawking ability fits the aggressive mentality that Dallas likes to implement. Let's not overlook the trade market beyond just Carlton Davis. One name quietly making the rounds is Marshon Lattimore of the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are in a bit of a financial bind and could be open to moving Lattimore for the right price. He's a true number one corner when healthy and would instantly elevate the Cowboys' secondary to elite status. Of course, he comes with a hefty price tag and some durability concerns, but if Dallas is serious about winning now, these are the kinds of bold moves they need to explore. While we're talking about trades, another deep sleeper option is Jaylon Johnson from the Chicago Bears. The Bears have invested heavily in their secondary, and Johnson has had some contract disputes in the past. If Dallas feels confident in their ability to extend him, they might try to make a move before the season starts. He's young, plays with physicality, and has improved each year. The price might be a bit steep, but the long-term payoff could be worth it. Looking back at the Cowboys' own roster, it's clear they'll need more than just one addition. Even if they bring back Gilmore, it wouldn't hurt to sign another veteran or swing a smaller trade for a depth piece. Competition in training camp is always a good thing, and right now, Dallas just doesn't have enough proven players to feel comfortable. With Diggs coming off a torn ACL, there's also no guarantee he'll be back to 100% by week 1. The team needs insurance, and lots of it. Don't count out younger names like Bryce Callahan or even William Jackson III either. These are guys who have bounced around the league but have starting experience. If the Cowboys feel like they can get one of these veterans in the building on a cheap contract and still get value out of them, it's worth a shot. It's all about building depth at this point while hoping for a standout performance from someone unexpected. One thing's for certain: the Cowboys cannot go into the regular season with the current cornerback depth chart and expect to compete against the likes of the 49ers, Eagles, or Lions. The margin for error is razor thin in the NFC, and one injury could sink the whole secondary. The front office needs to act fast and decisively. The situation also puts pressure on Mike Zimmer, who's taking over as defensive coordinator this season. Zimmer is known for being meticulous and demanding of his defensive backs. He'll want veterans who understand leverage, technique, and can handle complex coverage schemes. That likely eliminates any raw or developmental options from consideration unless they show serious upside right away. Zimmer won't tolerate growing pains if it costs the team games. From a financial perspective, the Cowboys still have some cap flexibility, especially after restructuring deals earlier this offseason. They can afford a veteran on a one-year deal, or even absorb a modest contract via trade. The question is whether Jerry Jones is willing to pull the trigger, or if the front office continues its conservative approach. Fans have been frustrated with the lack of splash moves this offseason, and missing out on Alexander only adds to that frustration. Now's the time for action, not hesitation. There's also the Micah Parsons factor. With Parsons being the heart of the defense, adding a reliable cornerback would allow him to attack more freely, knowing the secondary is locked down. That synergy is crucial. The Cowboys have built their identity around defense in recent years, and maintaining that standard means constantly reinforcing all three levels: front, linebacker, and secondary. Let's talk timelines. Ideally, the Cowboys make a move before training camp begins so that whoever they bring in has time to acclimate. Waiting until preseason or week 1 is a risk. Chemistry takes time, and the learning curve in Zimmer's scheme is steep. The longer they wait, the less impact a new cornerback will have early in the season. And considering the Cowboys face tough opponents in the first few weeks, early mistakes could cost them big. In terms of fan expectations, there's a growing sentiment that a Gilmore reunion is almost inevitable now. He checks every box: availability, experience, familiarity, and cost. If the Cowboys want to send a message that they're serious about competing, that's the move to make today. It may not be the flashiest move, but it could be the smartest. On the flip side, if Jerry Jones wants to make headlines and shake up the NFL, trading for someone like Marshon Lattimore or Jaylon Johnson would send shockwaves across the league. It would show that the Cowboys aren't just content with being a playoff team, they want to dominate. That kind of message could reinvigorate the locker room, energize the fanbase, and shift the narrative heading into the season. Ultimately, the ball is in Dallas' court. The loss of Jaire Alexander to the Ravens stings, but it's also a wake-up call. The top options are vanishing quickly, and every day the Cowboys wait, their leverage decreases. Whether they go with the familiar in Stephon Gilmore, take a chance on a younger vet like Adoree Jackson, or make a bold trade for a star like Lattimore, something has to give. Because right now, the secondary is one injury away from disaster. Cowboys Nation, we want to hear from you. Who do you think the team should go after now that Jaire Alexander is off the board? Are you in favor of bringing back Gilmore, or do you want a bigger move like a trade for Lattimore or Davis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, we read every single one. And don't forget to like this video if you found the breakdown helpful, and subscribe for more in-depth Cowboys content all season long. Big moves are coming, stay tuned and stay ready. Thanks for watching.